So I got to get used to this whole unmute thing. It's so aggravating. So aggravating. So anyway, welcome. We're going to talk for a few minutes because sometimes it takes a little bit long to get some people in here. Like those, those notifications, man. Trying to keep us down. The man's trying to keep us down, I'm telling you. Anyway. So
I'm bouncing.
Are you?
What?
You're bouncing on this one. I don't know if you're bouncing on live or not. But stop moving. What's wrong with you? No. So okay, so I was thinking about this. And I guess I'll tell you a story. Did I ever tell you that when I was in middle school, I used to be part of this program.
Special needs.
See?
Sorry.
Like it's not, obviously
Sorry.
you were going to go there because you're mean.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it is. You're mean.
It's really mean to autistic kids to assume you were in special ed.
Wow.
Ow.
Anyway, so what they called it the community. And really when you enter middle school, it's middle school 6th to 8th grade here.
Mm-hmm.
When you enter middle school, what happens is you go through different classes.
Mm-hmm.
You go through different classes and everything. You have a science class, you have a math class, whatever. Well, they set up this thing called the community. And if Jared Lockhart's out there, he'll tell you what, that's Jared and I met that way, and we found out we were cousins in that class. So, but anyway, regardless. So it was instead of having we'd have one teacher for 3 classes, go to gym and have another teacher for another 3, and it was just these 2 teachers every day.
And they would just rotate?
No, they wouldn't. We would rotate the class. Like one morning we'd have one teacher, one of these was a art teacher.
Yeah.
He was PhD in art.
Mm-hmm.
A guy named DeMuro. And you know how they talk about that's that one teacher that inspires you and moves you forward, and usually it's an art teacher or somebody like that. It's a woodworking teacher, whatever.
Similar things.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, this guy was an asshole.
Oh, okay. So
no, he was a fucking prick.
Whoa, bombs already.
Yeah, no, I couldn't stand him, and I don't harbor hate necessarily, but if I did, it would be really towards this guy.
If I had to hate anybody.
He was from New York, and he would consistently tell us he was from New York. And
they love to do that.
Oh, they do. Well, not New Yorkers. But anyway, so he was like from Brooklyn or whatever. He talked about how one time he got a guy bite off an ear, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Very New York.
Well, let me kind of give you an idea on how this guy was. So,
I've already got an image in my head.
Well, no, he was a little short guy.
Oh, yeah.
We used to call him Catfish because he had like these whiskers that came down. He was he was like late 30s, early 40s at the time.
It's flooding to my brain.
Yeah, well, don't. Anyway.
It's not a pleasant sight.
He used to throw chairs at students.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. So we actually, the vice principal there used to be a Miami Dolphin football player.
Ah, okay.
It was so funny to come to school one day. I don't know what happened, and I've taken you to the school.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
And in the back, you came in one morning, and him and the vice principal are about to get into a fight. So you got this big dude from the Miami Dolphins, who's about to
fight this little mouse man.
Yeah, well, basically, right? So anyway,
I bet that was a sight.
No, but this shows you our school board. They gave him his own school after a while.
No,
not the principal either.
Oh my gosh!
But
and the mascot wasn't a dolphin.
The issue comes in. You go to an art class, an art school, or whatever. You think it's going to give you, it's going to inspire you, right? But that doesn't always happen.
No.
And I'll tell you one thing about this guy, man. He was quite a character. Anyway. Welcome to Art Style Kamikaze.
Segue.
We're talking about character designs tonight from different things. So stick with us, guys, and we'll be right back. Eventually. No, we're still here. We're not going. Okay.
Hold on, wait.
What? Yeah.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
And I suppose her art program was all fulfilling or whatever.
Oh, the art program, best thing ever.
Oh my God. This is your best work. In all my years teaching, I've never seen anything so... Needless to say, this is art. I can't teach you anything.
It was such an awful summer.
But I thought your summer was great.
Not exactly.
Oh my God. This is your best work? In all my years teaching, I've never seen anything so needless. To say this is art. I can't teach you anything.
All right, and welcome to. Oh, look, you are bouncing. Look at you go. Woo!
Just like in real life.
That's
You
that
can't tell,
energy
though.
drink I gave you.
It
Your
absolutely
mom's not
is.
watching.
I'm over 18. It's safe. It's supposed to be, at least.
It didn't have alcohol in it.
Yeah. Or did it?
Anyway, hey everyone, I am C. Michael Lanning, independent artist. I've done work for Hasm Production, Arrow Comics, and so on and so forth. You can check out my work always at landingart.com, blah, blah, blah. There's always room for that later on. And as you can see to my right here, because yes, I know how to flip the camera. To my right over here is
His
my
offspring.
protege.
Yes.
Well, anyway.
Hey, what?
Who is not on camera as of right now, but is a bouncy little something, but she looks kind of like that. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Jaden.
Hi, I'm Jaden. I'm here.
Jaden likes to let you know that she likes to hide behind the camera because...
I am mysterious.
I feel like I don't even know what your motivation for saving that clip was. But
Oh
I know
my
it was
gosh.
for me.
No, not necessarily. It was just one of those things.
All right, cool.
Look, if nobody's ever gotten to see the Incredible Crew, then you're missing out
You
on an
are.
artistic sketch show that unfortunately didn't make it because Nickelodeon sucks.
Hey,
And it was on Cartoon Network.
that's your conspiracy.
But you know what? We're going to be talking about Cartoon Network stuff tonight.
We are. Yes.
Yeah, so,
We got a lot to talk about tonight, actually.
yeah, absolutely.
Probably too much.
That's
Prepare for a long stream, just in case.
just in case, just tighten it, buckle in, and everything
Get your
else. And of course,
popcorn.
if you're watching us on whatever platform you're watching us, the best way to get in contact with us is check us out on their YouTube channel, indiecomics.com, or, you know,
Or
our
messenger
Facebook.
pigeon.
Yeah, that has happened before. The bad thing about it is it has left my car with a bunch of bird poop, and that's
Yeah, that was
really
unfortunate.
aggravating. Absolutely. So, as always, like, share, subscribe, and please, if you have something to say, you want to say, hey, if you want to tell Jaden she's wrong, you can do that too. All you have to do is just drop a comment right there, and we'll be more than respond.
He would
It's
know.
interactive? You son of a bitch.
Oops. Hey, Mike's already there. Hey, Mike's been waiting for us
He's
to
like
come
our
back. Hey,
number one fan.
hey, Mike, how's it going? He said, whoop, it's happening.
Yes, it is. Finally.
Like I says, my 8th grade art teacher was such an asshole to me for no reason. I was determined to keep doing art.
Preach.
Then I had a high school teacher who was really cool, so that helped. I had a high school art teacher. She was nice and everything, but she didn't inspire me or anything like that. At that point in time, I wanted to do comics when I was in middle school. Lion King came out. I just aged myself, right? Lion King
Wow.
came out, and that inspired me. I wanted to do Disney art.
Yes. Furries. Don't
Why
worry.
has it got to be furries? See,
And the
it's
Lion
not-
King
that's-
wasn't a furry.
It was not. They were animals. It was the animal
Standing
kingdom.
on their
It
hind
was
legs.
a Disney National
Mhm,
Geographic.
mhm, yes.
not everything with an animal is a
That
furry.
wasn't exactly a nature documentary. Unlike the remake.
Well,
I
I'll
can
put it
tell
to you this way: nobody's, people are like to point out very often that there were several females at Pride Rock, but
Mhm.
there was only one male. So it was kind of a nature documentary.
Oh no.
and, then you had Nala and Simba,
No,
and
no,
you
no,
put
no,
two
no,
together.
No.
Mike says, "I am here for the long term." Well, that's great, Mike. Happy to hear.
If we ever have shirts, the first one has to go to Mike. Absolutely.
So okay, so again, we're talking about character design. We're kind of going to go over some of these character designs. Not everything, even though we're the Indie Comics Network, we also like to look at different things to help us.
In art.
Well, yeah, in art. Well, to create. And Mike
Unlike
said,
that teacher.
5XL. That's about my size, so that's good. I like to be able to breathe. I do. I don't like tight stuff.
Oh, trust
All
me,
right.
I'm oversized all the way.
So I figured if we're going to start with, we need to start with a common comic book character, right? And if, in case nobody knows, this is Wolverine.
In case nobody knows,
If you're watching the
you've
Indie
never
Comics,
heard of
if
a
you're
comic
watching
book.
the Indie Comics Network and you don't know who Wolverine is,
I don't know how you got here.
what
must
did you
have
find?
fallen and
That's
clicked the channel.
It was all an accident. Like, what is this?
Who is this yellow fella?
So, gosh. Anyway, so I think the thing about Wolverine
Is he needs a manicure.
Well, you know what? You pointed out something that we're going to point out later on, but which I thought was pretty interesting. There Wolverine, and there is a W look to him.
Oh, is there? I mean, like you got the claws and stuff. Which
Yeah,
is like...
it could be V or whatever, but even if you look down here,
Oh yeah, you can see that. For sure.
His legs, right? They make a W.
They do, yeah.
And it's interesting, and you kind of wonder how natural that is. And we're going to get into some more stuff later on where we're going to talk about that. But of course, we've talked about it before, and I talked about it the other day, where you had you want your characters to be recognizable, you want their silhouettes to be recognizable.
Absolutely.
We have the mouse. We've talked about it before. I even said yesterday morning when I hijacked the stream that if there's ever a meme about me, it's going to have something to do with shape language.
Yeah,
because
probably.
that's always the case. Because I'm always going to push shape language.
Always in your mind.
Well, because
that's a good thing.
That's absolutely, because I've seen people they worry so much about detail and not thinking about shape language.
Oh my god, all the cool stuff has to be on the outside. It has to look like the silhouette overall is going to be the most eye-catching part.
Nasty with intestines and
yeah, it's all pink and stuff.
Ugh, yuck.
But the little details, that's always secondary. To me, at least. I always figured, like, you have to have the shape. That's what's going to catch your eye.
Right.
And I always forget that, but I'm definitely one to preach about this, right?
Yes.
No one has ever seen a single character design I've done on purpose. That was intentional.
You got
this is a
to
learning
let it out there. So anyway, of course, this is a main, character that's very well known. His claws even are a W. I mean, he's got 3 claws.
Yeah,
right?
It's got to be right.
So, and you take it. These are things that you kind of take for granted.
Remember that? I don't remember which stream it was that we did, but we argued about what color his suit was.
Yes, well, he was originally yellow and blue.
I see. It's still blue, right?
It's blue.
Just black-ish blue.
That's called shading,
inking, right?
Yeah, it's called shading.
All right, cool.
What? See, look at his boots.
That's blue.
Yeah,
that's blue.
Yeah,
pretty blue.
Little elf feet that he has here. I'm not quite sure what's happening with these ankles, per se.
Oh,
I feel like that would break
really
off, right?
tiny little feet.
so anyway, so when we get into comics, we always people kind of like to keep in mind. We always think Western, right? But comics are not just Western. So I thought, yes, I'm going to I'm putting out there, Wolverine because he's common, but Batman's got the same type of. There's something about those ears that really help to define.
True.
A silhouette. I think about characters that's like I don't know if I would necessarily be able to tell Green Lantern by his
Ooh, Yeah,
silhouette.
that's true. I mean, those,
Uh,
what's his defining feature? Is it the ring? That's so small.
Yeah, well, you have that. I mean, his hair, maybe. I would think. Well, some of the characters. Well, yeah. If you look at Green Lantern, and you go back and you look at Guy Gardner, he kind of has like a moish type hair.
Moish.
Oh yeah, you're old. I mean, you're young.
No, you're old.
He has kind of a like the bowl cut. He has a mob haircut.
Ugly.
Mob Psycho. He's
Yes.
got a mob haircut. So, and that was what Mo of the Three Stooges.
Oh yes. Okay. Well, why didn't you just say that?
I didn't know if you knew the
I'm
Three
not
Stooges.
that young.
Yeah, you're pretty.
I'm
baby.
young enough not to know their names, but I know which one you're referring to now.
Okay. So anyway, this is the character that's coming up, and I think we're going to have it's kind of a bridge here because of the live action. So I kind of wanted to bring this out. And
Oh Lord.
who's this, Jaden?
I wonder.
No, answer the question.
Oh, is his name Monkey D. Luffy?
like you can't remember Monkey D. Luffy.
What is it? I wonder. Well, you're the one who's watched 500 episodes.
525.
Yeah, of course. He knows the exact number.
530. Okay, I am trying. Look, I am trying to get through the entirety of one.
He's
Piece.
accepted it like a challenge. That's what it is. It's sort of pleasure watching, but not really.
Let me put it this way: I can get through that a lot easier than I can get through Hunter.
Oh, my heart. Oh well.
So anyway, we have Luffy, and Luffy has a defining feature. Now, when Luffy started out, he didn't have the scarf that we have now.
Which version is this? Which art?
Okay, I'm not positive about the scarf yet, but this is definitely after the time skip.
Oh, okay.
So this is probably around Fishman Island.
All right.
So because of the scar on his chest, and I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want to get into spoilers.
Not for me. I'm only at like what 100, 130.
Yeah, you're the baby.
Well, it doesn't feel like it. I could have finished a whole anime by now. I could have finished 3 whole animes by now.
But work.
Sure.
Anyway, so then, of course, one of the main features about Luffy is
Hat.
the straw hat, right?
Obviously.
And this straw hat
So iconic.
is right. It's like it is made this iconic
Symbol. It really. I mean, like it's probably one of the most iconic items in all of anime.
I mean, because if you kind of look at Luffy and his design, he kind of has a bigger head.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like 1, 2. I mean, he's still pretty proportionate, but he has a big head. And what I've always liked about the One Piece characters is if you look at the style in One Piece, there's their hands
big.
are
Large.
kind of big,
Large.
right?
Large hands. Large feet too.
There is an artist out there. I think his name is Trent something like that, who did a book called Creed, and that was kind of his thing. He kind of had big hands, big feet,
like a Sonic character.
Yeah, in a way.
His little noodle limbs with these massive hands.
Yeah, that. So anyway, but yeah, no, exactly, and that's the thing. So that's that appeals to me. So it's not just the straw hat; it's also a style on it.
Yeah.
Now this kind of has a better silhouette to it than. Let's see. Mike says Trent. Okay, that's yeah. Go ahead. That's probably the right name. That's probably the right name. I'll be honest with you. People have asked me if I was a fan of his or whatever. I remember Creed. I wasn't necessarily a fan. I didn't pay much attention to it. I remember the character. It's a short little character. You know how the Max has like big feet and
large hands.
Yeah, he's flipping the bird.
Yeah.
Perpetually.
Oh, we should have put him in here, honestly.
I thought about it. But you know what? He's such a hot button topic right now with the Channing Tatum movie coming out.
Can we not?
Somebody
ruin my night.
Well, Nightmage, who is a really good cosplayer, did a cosplay of the Max recently. And it was in some article about, this cosplayer does like this awesome version of the Max or whatever the case. And you look at it, and it's not that the costume's bad, but the deal with that character is a hunched over looking lump.
He's like a meatball.
Well, yeah, exactly. So being able to do that. I mean, he's hunched over so far. I
If he
can
could pull that
imagine
off in
Channing
real life.
Tatum just crouched over.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't look
consistently.
right. That would not look right.
And like I said before, the only way that I could see that working per se is kind of like what they did with the Sin City, where they filmed everything pretty much, well, like they do it now, honestly. But it was a cartoonesque like green screen
Oh,
that they used. And they're going to have to freaking do this with One Piece because this live action thing, the amount of stuff that's coming out, guys,
oh no.
there's no absolute way. I give this show 3 seasons tops.
3? That's generous.
Well, that's why I said tops. Because there's certain things that are created
For cartoon.
for a medium.
Especially, oh god, One Piece was the weirdest thing to adapt. Considering some of the character designs in the show are so ridiculous. And I know what the draw is. It's to try and see them adapt that into reality, but it's never gonna top the original, and it's always gonna look worse.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine Chopper in a realistic style? They're just
No.
gonna have a deer. Like, it's just gonna be a deer.
And people who don't know, Chopper is
He's a blue-nosed reindeer.
he's a blue-nosed reindeer.
He's a little funny-looking guy.
He's
Little bobblehead-looking motherfucker.
he ate human fruit.
Yes.
And so basically he has several different
Forms.
forms.
He can shapeshift.
He's
in a way.
no, not a Loki type. What is it? Is it a Loki type? No.
He's watched too many episodes. I
Anyway,
should probably know this. I'm closer to that arc.
I can't remember.
Someone will tell us maybe.
So anyway, look, Mike says, I wish the Max movie was animation. But we had a great animation for the Max.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. In all honesty, as a little bit of trivia, one of the problems that MTV had, and they ended up having to kind of cut the comic book and use images from the comic book because they could not animate it right
Really?
and keep that style.
Huh.
That story is not going to be told outside of that style,
I don't
not
understand.
properly. I like to, like I say, and anybody who knows me has probably heard me say this 100 times before. To me, the Max is like comic book jazz, and
Oh.
it's an erratic thing. Every note by itself is just
Definitely.
sound, but put together, it makes a harmony that moves
Mhm.
together.
That's why I
And
don't like
Indie
jazz.
Comics Network says, no, do not encourage
The
a
Max.
D Max.
Too
It just
loud.
can't happen.
No, okay.
Okay. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, mommy.
Anyway.
I don't understand what was always the rave about like adapting a comic book in the first place. I don't quite get it. As if it's not good enough on its own.
Well, see, that's the problem. Is for some odd reason, and you're new to this, right? And absolutely, Mike. The Max was and is one of my favorite books.
Based.
and Indie Comics Network says, "Hi, baby."
I was just talking to you.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Anyway, so no, because that's always been the argument: is it's not legitimate unless it's live action to people.
I know.
But you know what? The mainstream and people, the normies or whatever, F them. In all honesty, because
Who needs them?
well, that's the thing, and we're going to get into some stuff later on in this stream where that subject's going to come up,
Then we'll save it.
and we'll see what happens when an indie product ends up going and making that crossover, and you find
Into the mainstream.
into the mainstream. Well, I'll give you a perfect example right here, right now, is the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
See, with the Ninja Turtle comic book, it was an indie comic book, completely indie, right? We're not talking about it wasn't a image kind of indie book. It was an indie book. They
'Cause who
published
would
it. They
fund
paid
that?
for it.
That's
They
ridiculous.
paid for it.
Reread issues 1 through 6.
Indie Comics Network reread issues 1 through 16 today. I bet.
And
So
every
that's
week.
what you're doing, okay?
And every
Anyway.
other day.
But here's the deal. So you look at Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was an indie comic, strictly indie. They used their money to basically
Mhm.
fund publishing this thing. And then, of course, this is before self-publishing is a thing on the level that it is now.
Yes.
You
Which
didn't have Comics Wellspring,
Yeah.
Kablam Comics. You didn't have that stuff. So these guys took their tax return and some money that they saved up. Two guys,
Put out their
and they
funny little
turned it
turtle
out.
book.
They went out and they put out their funny little turtle book. They did the lay work,
Mhm.
stuff. They went out and got it. There was no internet. I know you thought the internet was forever, but it's not. And are
Old for
eternal,
playing out.
not forever. Maybe the internet is forever.
It'll take over us eventually.
Well, no, AI will be running it anyway. Anyway,
Ever watched The Matrix?
so But when people came knocking on the door, what happened? They took a comic book that actually had murder in it.
Ooh.
And it was kind of a gritty book.
Yeah.
And they took it and they made it a kids cartoon, a very fun kids cartoon, right? And it becomes this huge kids franchise with some great adaptions and some horrible ones, like the one recently. Anyway,
He's a little hater.
I do not like Seth Rogen. Anyway,
Sure.
nothing personal against him. He might be a great guy.
He ruins pretty
I
much
do
everything.
not personal against actors at all. But I did not like the Ninja Turtles. Anyway,
Might be personal.
point being, you see that crossovers, like they didn't make what was the comic. They shifted to make it into a cartoon that was kid friendly.
Yeah.
And that's the case.
Think
And then
they
they made a live action version of it.
They did, yeah. Everything has to have one.
Well, this is what I was talking about the other day. For something to catch on, sometimes it's just you just have to catch it at the right time. And the best way to catch the right wave is to get it out now.
Yeah.
Because by the time that wave comes along and you decide to jump on, it's going to be too late.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So,
I mean, that's how it works. If you can even catch a semblance of a trend forming, you hop on it.
right. So in character design, Luffy is kind of your main character, the big eyes. So I'm going to ask you, maybe you know this. Why does anime rely on the big eye style?
Well, it comes from, like a lot of Asian beauty preferences, like dolls
Yeah.
and cats. That's a big one.
Oh,
A lot of anime
you're
characters.
going to bring that up later, aren't you?
Oh, yes, this comes back. This is foreshadowing. But a lot of anime characters, and the reason their side profiles are so short and the nose, like the snout, right, is because they're based on cats, which are just notoriously adorable. Who doesn't love a house cat? Japan especially loves cats, and I don't know if that's racist, but I'm going to say it anyways. They love cats. I love cats. Everyone loves cats. Most of them are based on cats.
Everyone. People who aren't, great.
Who are wrong don't like cats, but we're not talking about them. That's probably what it is. The big eyes.
Well, no, I've seen it on
little
Instagram where
mouths.
they've taken a cat and they'll
they'll
draw
draw
a character
And
over it.
It's always an anime character, isn't it? They have the proportions.
Come to think of it, I think it is always an anime character.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's take the cat thing into this next look.
Ooh, smooth transition.
Yeah.
Is this the right one?
No. No, I mean it's not the one I was going to go with. Does this look like a cat?
Looks pretty beefy cat. If it was, I don't know.
All
It
right.
doesn't have the face, right?
So this is from the manga. Of course, there's also an anime called
No Guns
No
Life.
Guns
If
Life.
anyone has ever heard of it, I swear, I feel like I'm the only person on Earth.
I watched it with you.
Yeah, you were there.
Like, golly.
You don't
Talk
really
about
count,
feeling
though.
like an island. Gee whiz.
You're like an accessory, really.
So basically, and what's kind of interesting about this is how do you take a freaking inanimate object like a pistol
and make it so expressive.
and make it somebody's head?
I know, and it blows me away. This is honestly the best execution of object head design I have ever seen, and I mean that. Like, if you've ever seen Chainsaw Man, that's probably second place. I love him; he's great, but this one takes the cake for me. I mean, the mouth, oh my god, the freaking handle, everything. It fits perfectly. The way it blends into his neck, it's all so impressive.
What gets me about this character is like,
Look at that. Like, I feel you, and there are scenes where you can absolutely read what he's laying down. Like, you know what he's feeling, and he doesn't have to move. It's always the same face. It's incredible. I really do love that anime and his design especially. He's the first one that came to mind when I
there is a weird. There's not. They didn't just go. Oh, here's a weird thing. It's a very Noir
Yeah, of course.
Noir cyberpunk
Detective-
Blade
it's
Runner
really-
type feel to it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it has, what gets me about this is when they decide I don't know who the mangaka is.
It's probably written. Oh, sorry, I spit on you.
Tasuku Karasuma.
Tasuku Karasuma. I have no idea how to say that.
Tasuku Karasuma.
Anyway, you are a genius. And
Yeah,
this design is
No,
beautiful.
you know what? Here's the deal. My question on this is, come on, what were you really? Did you hate yourself? Did
feel-
you hate yourself
Look.
and go, hey, I'm going to do this?
I might ruin this a little bit, but do you remember how like the entire last segment of the second, I think it was second season, it might have been the second part of the first season, it was all CGI. Like the fights, anytime he had a lot of movement going on, it had to be CGI.
And that makes sense. Can you try drawing that freaking head?
That's where I think about it. Like that's animation, but
Yeah.
he still had to draw that in the manga.
In the manga.
Like that was, he couldn't use CGI there.
No. But okay, so let's break this down in shapes, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so what shapes do we see here?
Well, you see a lot of very prominent right off the bat. His teeth very sharp, triangular. Then it's just gun shape.
Actually, his teeth aren't really triangular.
What is hex?
Yeah, pretty
hexagon.
much.
Very golly, what's the word I'm looking for?
Geometric?
Yes, that's the term. That might be it. I don't know.
Since it's a geometric shape, I just kind of guessed.
But it's so complicated. It's one of those designs where I'm still too much of a beginner to really pick apart like that. But it's a gun.
It's a
You
gun.
can tell it's
Right.
a gun.
Well, okay. When you look at it, you see the circles,
Yes.
right?
In the barrel.
And oblong. And see, here's the thing: is it's not all circles because the barrel is circle, obviously.
Yes.
But the rotating part, I don't know gun
The
anatomy.
rotating part, I don't know either, but I'm still laughing at
The chamber. Let's call it the chamber. I think that might actually be it.
you.
The chamber it's an oblong circle,
Yeah.
with stuff cut out of it. And that's, we got to look at it, guys. When we're doing kind of designs like this, you want to break your characters down to simple forms.
Yes,
We've talked about
always.
this. And the question is this: how much time are you willing to spend on drawing this?
Yeah.
If you're an independent comic artist or independent creator, and I would say this also, if you're a writer, think about this as well. When you're thinking of your characters, don't go too detailed into it.
Mm-mm.
Because while it might look cool and you might want to add a lot to it, what happens is that's a lot of time that takes up. And when you're an artist or when you're a creator, time is a commodity.
Exactly.
And it's very important that you want to save time, especially with this stuff.
You will wind up resenting characters that you draw because of the complexities that you put into their design. Having to draw the same earring 5,000 times or scarf that's way too complicated.
Yeah.
It's little things like that can take so much time. It's just not worth it.
No, absolutely. And and you'll be surprised that all those little details are not what people pay attention to. Because
it's
what
not.
do they thought? What are they looking at, Jaden?
What you're actually asking me?
Well, I mean, it's not really rhetorical.
Face?
Shape
Shape,
language.
yes,
Oh
that-
my
oh,
gosh.
Yes, we were talking about that earlier. That is the thing.
I don't know what to do with her. I don't know.
There's so much shape language going on in just his bust area, like the upper. I mean, look at his head, for goodness sake. That's a whole character in itself right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad they kept the rest simple for the most part. I mean, nothing really crazy goes on below this.
What it is probably the best way that they've done this is they've taken the head. You know what? Well, look at it. How different is this than the circle jaw technique
Yeah.
that you have with heads?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, that's what it is. Because if you look at it, it's when you draw your head, you always have everybody's with the circle and the jaw line and stuff like that. You do the half circle. And if you haven't seen that technique,
What is it called? Loomis head method?
Loomis head method is actually more square,
Yeah, you're right.
but it's more. This is kind of a typical.
yeah.
Maybe Bridgman does that somewhere. George Bridgman.
Maybe one day we'll know names.
Oh, no, his name's Bridgman. For
Bridgman.
sure. And maybe Hogarth. But so it's a very common thing. But instead of drawing a perfect circle, draw an oblong, like this is an oblong circle. Manipulate that into an oval or an or whatever the case is, and to help give you variations in your head. Of course, I cannot remember the guy's name. Oh, if I can remember it, he does a little bone guy design. He does, but he actually has lessons on showing you don't have to stick with just that circle and jaw method.
No.
You can also do it in the square, and that's what I kind of explore.
Yeah,
With
interesting.
character
I mean, once
design,
you've
which I
got the
enjoy, like.
rules, you're allowed to break
Right.
them.
But here's another character that is also an expressionless character. So this is a character that still had to have an expression, and yet you could tell what was going on, and so on. All right. In any case, Alphonse Eldrick
from Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
You have to say it
All
like the
right.
voice does. of
Brotherhood.
course. Specifically, I think.
Now, this was interesting to me because I never put this together. And the more I look at this, I think you're completely right. Now, I looked online to see if there was anyone following that point.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anybody
Yeah.
that said that, but it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago when we were talking about the type of faces. And
What you gonna whip out?
be careful how you say that.
Oh, no one's thinking like that. Right?
This is the internet.
Oh no. Well, what you trying to prove?
I don't. No. I'm looking.
All right.
So anyway, but there is.
All
Okay.
right.
So this is,
Ooh.
and it's backwards for you guys, but this is action cartooning. It's not backwards to me. But here's the thing that they show you in this, and this is variations, right? Like you could see here somebody using the technique, and maybe you can't really see because of my green screen, but maybe you could scan this at one point in time and let somebody and put it out there for people to see.
I've read this before. It's pretty good.
But I thought what's interesting, what I'd like to bring out is, okay, you got this head right here. Well, the variation is actually from a rat. and that's the thing. So why? Because it's a sneaky, sorry guys, we're judgmental, stereotypical, prejudiced species.
We're racist against animals.
No.
Is that what we're implying?
No, we're racist against shapes. Certain shapes and certain things do stuff to us. We've talked about it before.
Of course. Look, you're always going to react to somebody's appearance before their personality, because what do you notice first?
Right. But what we take into consideration when you look at a gorilla, when you see a gorilla, it denotes strength and pride and
it's very top heavy
and brutal.
Yes.
Right. So that's a good
like a brute character.
Animal, right? That
tough.
Right. That's what you look for.
You
a
won't
tough
want to F
animal.
with the gorilla.
Or a rat. We think of a rat sneaking and going against the walls and
Nothing upturned
all this,
nose,
right? Like, okay,
whiskers,
I've
your
been told I
teacher.
look like a bat. I don't know.
But
I guess.
It's the ears.
I don't even know what the bat look. I don't know. It's the ears.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Does that
Anyway,
mean? Okay.
probably. So anyway.
No, you got headphones over there. You should put those on. That'll be better.
I don't know where my headphones are. So anyway, animals can be a definite inspiration for character designs and things like that. So if you get stuck like, man, I've got this character that's just like, he's a soft guy, but he's really slow. So maybe you should base that character off of
Sloth.
There you go. See, and let's
Easy.
see how that comes up.
I imagine a sloth-like person with a kind of dopey, maybe a little bit of a saggy face or a little pushed-in nose.
Right,
like
right. Maybe hanging upside
Long
down.
Arms. That's
Hey.
somewhere to go. A little hunched over. These are just ideas.
There you go. See, so don't be telling all the ideas.
No.
So you think Alphonse
Yes.
Eldrick is a? This is him from the manga, right?
Yes, I think so. It's all official art. What I've shown.
Okay.
I think, and this is a theory, so don't bash me. I think his face specifically is based on a cat, and I have reasons to believe that. Now, it's clearly his head is. It's the inspiration's taken from, what is it, Kobuto samurai helmets, like the back flaring out like that. That's absolutely what that is. But his face, the war paint-esque little vent holes that he's got, that can be whiskers. His little fangs. I mean, come on, and especially
the fangs right there. Okay, no, go ahead. You're gonna point it out.
And the little what are those pointy parts?
The pointy parts
right above his eyes. Right, that's cat ears. I mean, dude, it's clear as day. At least to me, that was the first thing I thought, because I was trying to figure out when I was looking at him, something about him And yes, if you've ever met the character, you know that he's a little dude. He's a little guy in a big suit of armor. He's not intimidating, but he's appearance wise, he is supposed to be. However, in the face, I didn't find him to be. Something about him just seemed very endearing. Even with all the spikes all over his suit, something in that face kept drawing me back. And I think it's the innocence of a cat. He's cute, he's sweet, he's simple. I mean, it's not even a little bit scary the more I look at it. He's got these big red eyes, but
I mean, basically, it absolutely does look like a cat. I think that's a pretty good, and that's probably why. Because if you got a creature of creation that's is a tough creation, but you need to have a soft side. Because if you don't know Alphonse Elric, they did something. He was a 8.
He was
10.
He was a bit like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old boy,
right? Who ends up,
trapped
losing
in
his body and basically has to be in this armor to survive.
Yes.
So
His
you
soul
have
is trapped
so
in the
right.
armor.
So you still have to get that
the essence
armor
that like this is an innocent little dude. He's
Yeah.
trustworthy, but what's going to convey that? I mean, he's in this bulky, massive, pointy suit of armor. How are you ever going to trust a character like this?
So there you go. So let's say this is a gorilla cat.
Gorilla cat.
Well, I mean, come on. That's actually not a bad idea, right? I mean, you like we say, if you use different animals to denote the type of character, mixing those animals can help denote the juxtaposition of their personalities.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. No,
So-
that totally makes sense. Now we're getting into mutation, which not where I expected this
Which
to go.
people make a lot of money at. Let's see, X-Men, Ninja Turtles.
Oh my goodness, you're totally right.
Farmers who have 2-headed cows. There's just
That sounded like a reference.
mutation. It happens, and of course, and we're almost halfway through. But Mike says,
Already?
"Please give a like if you can. It helps the channel. Absolutely,
Yes, thank you, Mike.
give a like. And like I said, and in case you missed it earlier, leave a comment. We always love
Please do.
comments.
I will read.
It's interactive? You son of a bitch.
So anyway, that's a little clip. I had to get that one.
Yeah, you keep using that. I love it.
I know. I gotta
Never
get some
gets
more clips.
old.
So yeah. So that's the
Am I
case.
insane? Okay, so you pointed out that it could be a lion, right? The chin is what gives that like credibility to me.
Right.
Is yes, if he didn't have that chin, that protruding, I wouldn't make that connection. But
Well, I say that, but the issue comes in thinking about it, because the cat ears and the the cat ears and the the whiskers and things. It could be a lion, except it doesn't really have that mane. What I think it's more or less, I think you have what we talked about is the differences. And if you haven't seen Floppa,
oh no,
which is a freaking puma
it's
that consistently hisses
yes,
that somebody
It's
owns.
adorable.
I don't know, it's not.
big floppa. Look it up. You will not.
Big old neck or whatever the case is, and it's purring kitten a lot while it's hissing. But it could be kind of a mountain lion, but I think it's really we have this hulking mouse and this kitty. It's a kitty face.
Well, it works. I don't know how intentional it was, but like I said, Japan loves cats.
Right.
I'm just saying it could have absolutely been intentional. And her character design is Hiromu. I forget what her name is. Her designs are amazing. Like
I don't know if the books are in the other room. If you want to go find it.
oh, I couldn't read it anyways. But I love her design, and when I kind of put this together, it only made me fall more in love with it. Honestly, it's perfect.
Absolutely.
And
So-
my brother did not believe me, by the
Yeah.
way. I'm just trying to prove him wrong on that one. He told me I shouldn't present this because I'd sound like an idiot, and he might be right. But
I don't think so. I mean, I don't. He says it's war paint, but I see the ears.
right, but come on! And, oh my god, the fangs, dude. No,
Yeah, no, I
I
think
will
you're
fight
right.
someone on this.
I think you're right. I think it's a muscle.
Hiromu would have to come down here herself and tell me that's not a cat for me to believe it isn't.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And she's crazy. So I want to kind of get into a little bit more with some designs that are a little bit more
Ooh.
simple.
A little wacky.
And now you take in consideration while we're doing comics, you have to take in I've been breaking things down. This is a little bit of simplicity. And when you're doing indie comics and you're on a tight deadline and you want to get it done, simplicity does it. But one of the things that really helps with simplicity, or really helps using simplicity,
Needing
is
simplicity.
is animation.
You need it more than any other form. In my
Absolutely.
opinion.
And here we go. This is the cast of characters of the upcoming movie If with Ryan Reynolds and
You're tossing shade already.
John Karansky, you didn't come up with it, bruh.
No, he just flipped on the freaking
You didn't.
Cartoon Network.
When
one
you
day.
go, you guys see
He
on
thinks it's been long
YouTube,
enough.
on the Hulu, if you got Hulu with ads, or soon to be Amazon with ads. Yes, you heard it here first. You'll see the advertisement for the movie If, which stands for
Imaginary Friend.
Imaginary Friend. And the issue was, the premise is they have to save the imaginary friends. Well, there's already a place.
There's already a place for them to go.
That saves imaginary friends, folks. It was called Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
One of the best cartoons out there. We'll stick with this.
Absolutely.
I will fight for this. It's a great show. It's very charming.
So this is the collective. This is your initial first cast,
Mhm.
right? So what we have here is you have, let's see if I can't get this coming from left to right.
I
We
know
have
all their names.
Frankie, Wilt, Mac, Coco, Blue, and Eduardo, who is voiced by
Is it Tom Kenny?
by Tom Kenny.
Yes.
Best known for
SpongeBob.
Bob and Dave's Mr. SpongeBob. He did SpongeBob?
Yes.
What? No, he's Ice King.
He's a lot of things. But he's handsome.
But so this looks to you. You might look at this and go, okay, well, that's not fantastic art. And I would say, look again.
Go die?
Because
Sorry,
no. This
Sorry.
is why you're
I wonder
behind
if
the
we can
camera, because
go-
if people will shoot you.
We can't go a single stream without me sending death threats to somebody.
Oh my gosh. No, well, the issue comes in what you take in consideration. So what's the premise here? We have kids that are coming up with imaginary friends. They kind of just pop out of nowhere.
Mhm.
You know, they just think of it.
They exist.
There was a character, she's not on here, but
Oh, what was her name?
she came up with cheese.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Goo.
Go, yes. She
Yes.
came up with her own name.
Her name was Goo. They say, my parents asked me what my name was, and I said Goo.
Because she was a baby. It's hilarious.
Right. So if you haven't seen it, it's a Cartoon Network show that came on early 2000s. We owned it all on iTunes, and then they stole it.
It's very because
you don't own anything.
if you have any knowledge about cartoons, even a little bit, you can already tell that this is Craig McCracken. I mean,
Mhm.
the simplicity, the
Why,
the
Jaden, we're
shape
talking
which
to a comic book community.
audience.
Who is that?
Oh no.
Who is Craig McCracken?
Oh yes. He is a big name in the cartoon industry. I mean, like Powerpuff Girls, Wander Over Yonder, like a lot of the cartoons I grew up with, he was the lead man behind. He does the designs. What is happening here? He has a very recognizable style, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. It's this simplistic shape dominated characters, and they are beautiful. Like I haven't seen a single one that hasn't blown me away. Oh shoot.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Single kid. Well, yeah.
I mean, like, okay, even background characters in Powerpuff Girls are eye-catching, and they're those designs that they're not necessarily three-dimensional. Like there is depth, but
Yeah.
it's not necessary. It works fantastic in 2D animation.
So you have here these characters. Wilt is a very polite. Oh, I'm sorry. It was done by Phil Lamar. I know Phil Lamar from Mad TV. Some folks out there might know Phil Lamar as Samurai Jack.
Oh yeah. No.
So, but in that essence, so
Mom
but
would
he's
know.
he's a very soft.
Dopey basketball player type.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can tell obviously.
Right, he's a
Tall, got the
basketball player,
armband.
but he's a very soft character.
Yeah.
Right, is
Gentle giant, sort of.
absolutely. And then you have Coco. Coco, you can't understand Coco. Well,
She's
you can
wacky.
understand Coco. They understand Coco.
We
Coco
don't
is
understand.
Coco.
Coco, whose entire head is just a palm tree. Like
yes.
there's no beating around that. It just
And
is.
Coco was voiced by Fran Drescher. You won't understand
I
that,
didn't
but
know.
other people out there will.
Maybe. I feel like I should know.
Coco was not. Fran Drescher did.
I don't
voice
know who that is. I don't get
She
the
was
show.
a nanny. You know, because your mother hated that show and we never watched it.
Oh.
So
She's probably commenting as
Yeah.
we speak.
underneath there's Blue, who's kind of a trouble
Yes.
mischief maker. And I'm going to point out, we're going to get
Scallion.
into Blue's character here in a minute. And then you got Eduardo. And Eduardo looks like he should be a very scary character, right?
Yeah,
That's what he's
like
supposed to
the
look like.
most gentlest. of
But
humans.
however, right, he's a scaredy cat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
he
how
is.
can you tell what is the I don't want to say antithesis, but what is the anti-expression on Eduardo that contradicts
Well, it's
his
his eyes.
his eyes?
They're round, and he's got that freaking unibrow. It's always pointed up.
Mhm.
He's so
his
simple.
eyes
So
is
cute.
pointed down.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
wait,
from
okay.
arched up is what I meant. You don't understand me all, Dad.
Oh,
But
golly!
he's got these tusks. He's got these horns. But the rest of his design is very round. It's so circular. He's
Right.
just a giant circle when you really connect it.
So so this was pretty much simple to animate
Mhm.
for the most part. It's just some very simple shapes. One of the simplest shape out of this
Is blue.
is blue. That's it.
That's it. That's all there
You
is.
need to know how to draw blue. There you go. Do you see how we could see? I think what's interesting. You see how blue's in perspective in this this one right here.
No.
One eye is bigger than the other.
Ah, yes. Okay, that's another telltale sign of McCracken right there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so clever. Like, it's so simple, but it's so effective.
it's exactly, and it's those things. It's called forced perspective,
Mhm.
right? Because obviously, if something was there, the odds wouldn't be that off. But I think what's really interesting about blue is we go, okay, here's Blue's character design. Now do a turnaround. You
It's-
just
the
take
face
the eyes
disappears.
off, right? Basically. But you see next to it, you have an emotive blue. You have a moving blue, and then now blue takes on
Yeah.
a different shape
Yeah, yeah.
while remaining himself,
Mhm.
right? So, but and we need to take into consideration how far can we push a simple form into a dynamic one.
Interesting.
And I think that's I think blue is probably your best
best
example. So I'm going to say blue is probably the best character design
Ever?
on Foster's at least.
And okay. That's an opinion.
Because blue was the main focus.
I will say.
Blue was the star
Yeah,
of
he
Foster's.
was. He was.
And so you were looking at a character that they were going to have to animate consistently
1,000
and still
times.
had to have movement. He was a rambunctious guy. He was a mischievous one. He got into a lot of trouble. It doesn't look like it. He's a fucking Pac-Man. I mean,
Oh my god! But seriously, I mean, even the Pac-Man does have more detail than this. They have little triangles at the bottom of their sheets.
oh, that's true. They do. Yeah.
Even they have more details.
But they took it. They stretched those outlines, and it was all basic shapes, right?
It's incredible how he is one of the most iconic designs of my childhood, and he's a blue blob. There's nothing else for the most part.
So here's another one.
If we can pull it up.
Oh no, it's here.
It's
It's
there.
very
It's just
small.
very tiny.
Yeah,
Bitty. Just like in
it's a
real.
late edition. So this is also Craig McCracken. McCracken.
This one I added for a specific reason. And this is to me the quintessential thing that I think of when I think of simple but effective. What you see with Powerpuff Girls is obviously all of them, their dominant shape is it's circle. They're
Mhm.
round, they're bubbly. Look at their eyes, look at their limbs, they're all rounded off. But you can tell their individual personalities purely through their hairstyles. Can't you?
Okay.
Can't you?
Okay. I'm sitting here thinking that
Yeah,
exact thing.
exactly.
The exact thing. I've never taken time to sit there. Your mother, believe it or not, when we first started dating, and if she's still there, she can attest to this. Drugged me to go see the Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
Your mother, we weren't.
I remember this story.
I don't.
She's told it to me many times in a bragging manner.
Were we dating at that time? Anyway, but she was living with me, but we weren't at that time. It's a long story. She actually had a Powerpuff Girl poster.
Oh, nice.
It was by Trends. And if you don't know what
Nice.
Trends is, Trends used to put out posters. They were propaganda for the rise of an extensionist nation for the downfall of society.
Mm.
Trends. And
Is that their slogan?
it's mine for them.
Conspiracy theories.
They're hiding on the surface.
Oh,
So I
okay,
never
okay.
took, my point being is I never took time to actually look at
the characters.
the
themselves.
characters.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Look, okay, so If anyone is even a little bit aware of shape language,
I see a tangent. And I can't say
it's
that.
okay. That's very common with Craig McCracken, unfortunately. In
Freaking
styles that are
tangents.
dominantly two-dimensional, they usually have tangents. It's something that's pretty much unavoidable at times. But if you look at their characters,
Mhm.
all right, so square, that is known as traditional, that is known as stability. Really, that's the shape.
Right,
that
solid. Yeah.
Look at Blossom. She is almost entirely little squares. She's the mediator of the group. She's the leader, the most stable character. Then you've got Bubbles. Her hair, circles. It's round. It's rounded off. She got little teardrops as her pigtails because she's a little bit of a crybaby, right? Then you've got Buttercup. What do you see right off the bat? The little wings? Those are triangles. She's aggressive. She's sharp. She's dangerous.
They're devil horns.
She's erratic. Yeah, you can absolutely see it that way. Absolutely. She's the most devilish member of the group.
When even their hairstyles give their personalities because they don't have eyebrows.
Yes. There's been so many times. Oh my god. If I could find that one picture where you can see Blossom and Buttercup with their little eyelids face down. They're obviously supposed to look sad about whatever situation's on screen. You couldn't tell with Bubbles. Your hair is blocking it entirely.
But Bubbles is always kind
She
of.
always looks kind of sad. Interesting. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely. I never thought about it, but then you brought up a really good point with the squares. While the overall design, what you look at is a triangle with some circles, right? But the square part, because she's a square character, she's straight edge.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So there you go, guys. So using shapes within overall shapes help to kind of guide the personalities of those characters.
Their dominant shape will always be circle because they're little girls.
Yeah.
They're soft and they're innocent.
Welcome.
And
the
they're
more
bouncy.
you know.
Sorry.
I'm going to totally clip that. Look, because the issue comes in is we're learning as we're going along too.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I don't even see until it's
someone
brought
points
up.
it out.
Yeah, well, not necessarily somebody
Right,
points
so
it
I
out.
point it out, and then
when
I
you're sitting
realize
there
as I keep
staring
talking.
at it in the face, right? So take your time, go back and look at stuff that you really caught your eye, and characters that really caught your eye. Take a minute, think of shapes,
Analyze.
And just look at it,
soak it up,
and it will stand out to you.
I mean, the amount of times I've drawn the Powerpuff Girls, you think I would have noticed this a lot sooner in my life.
Oh, you drew the Powerpuff Girls?
Oh, constantly, fool. You were the one who hung it up on the fridge. Or maybe it was Mom. She's the only one that loves me.
Yeah. Anyway.
Why aren't you disagreeing?
Here's another cast of cartoon characters.
I'm just getting
Steven.
waves of nostalgia today.
Now, Steven Universe is, in itself, they're all gems for the most part, right?
Yes, they're all based on famous sparkly rocks.
Right. So they're very simple characters.
Yeah.
Steven's kind of around, bumbling kid. You know what? Honestly, for a lot of people out there who used to watch the Saturday Night Live of the 90s, Steven reminds me of Pat.
Pat. Is that a character?
Pat was a character. Wouldn't go very far now. I don't remember who was the person that played Pat. Pat was a Saturday Night Live character that was frequent. The problem with people with Pat was they couldn't tell if Pat was female or a gay male.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Pat would not go over well today.
Oh no.
But
it's like
but that's what Pat, I'll have to show you a picture of Pat. That's what Steven reminds me of. It's kind of the dorky, whatever. But then the thing about Steven was he was dorky, but he kind of had an uppy personality. And I think these characters, and I think this looks more like fan art. Now that I look at it,
it might be.
Yeah,
but it's still like it's their designs. I don't think they changed anything really.
So I mean, but look, you see, but thinking about what you just said, you have Garnet, who was basically the leader of the Crystal Gems.
She was. Absolutely. She is square through and through.
Right.
Look at her head. Look at everything else.
And she has a personality by lacking one.
Sort of, in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because can I say this? Spoiler alert for anyone who's not seen it. She's made up of two people, and very opposite personalities, mind you. So when put together, they're very calm.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good at mediating. But she's big too. If you didn't know this, fusions are huge, and the separates are very tiny.
Yes, right. Well, Pearl's not. I mean, Pearl's kind of tall, right? Pearl's this character over here
I
on
mean,
the right hand
you got
side.
what is it, Topaz over there? Bigger than Garnet, so we still kicked her ass. That's all I'm saying.
Was Topaz but was Topaz
No, I don't think she was a fusion.
a fusion?
No, she
Yeah.
was just on her own.
Yeah, she was just herself.
Random, but
Topaz kind of has like this Amazoning
yeah, of
look
course.
to her,
Yeah.
right?
She's a bit of barbarian. In what
Right.
It's kind of her personality.
Pearl is triangles,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I can see that. Mhm.
Right. So I mean, you see the nose and the hair and stuff, but she's not. Usually, you see those kind of sharp features when you're dealing with somebody who's.
But I feel like here it indicates like intelligence and grace. You have
It's still that straight edge, but
yeah,
like
exactly.
yet something's like a
Different.
twitch off of it.
There's
Like
I mean, she's got a circle in the middle of her forehead.
I mean, if you look at a square, it's like
And an
okay, it's
oval-shaped
balanced on either side, right? You got four sides, seems balanced. It's cut in half. It's equal.
Mhm.
A triangle, not so much.
Yeah.
You
no,
know, it's three-sided. It's not. You can't divide three in itself and you get 1.5. It's not. It doesn't have that.
It
So,
feels a little mathy.
right,
I'm drifting
so-
off.
huh?
What? Continue.
Uh,
I'm not the brightest.
but and so you kind of see that with Peridot over here too,
I love
with that
Peridot.
with the diamond look,
Yeah.
To
no,
her.
Sure.
right?
For sure.
Because she's a little edgy.
Oh yeah. She's very
Amethyst
full of herself.
is rounded but kind of wild in her hair.
Her hair
so.
is wild, indicating the rest of her personality.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk about another wild character. You want to say something?
Yes. Before we move on, I never noticed how all of the crystal gems have stars on them. I don't know why. That just occurred to me. I just realized that they all have stars.
Only the crystal gems, though.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're a group, right? I think the rest of them have what looks like diamonds. See?
Diamond. But what about
Lapis in the middle of her dress.
Oh yeah. Huh.
I just noticed that. I don't know why. I don't know how I didn't notice that before.
Oh, that's crazy. More you know.
Hey!
Hey.
Learning things.
So now-
Thank you, Rebecca Chicken. Yes.
Now you wanted to add Arcade.
I needed to add Arcane.
Arcade, of course, is a Netflix show that is animated by a French studio,
Yes, I
right?
believe so. Don't
It's
remember
very
the name right now.
painterly.
Oh,
look
because
to
they
it.
paint. They do. They paint over every one of their renders.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's fantastic. It's so well executed. Honestly, if you're avoiding it because it's based on a terrible video game, ignore that exists, and you will have a fantastic time. You do not need to know the game to know the show.
So Jinx's name is Jinx, Jinx.
X.
And
I
you
can
can tell
spell.
she's kind of a mousy character
Yeah, she looks
in a
innocent.
sense. But yet there's a little
There is edge. There's
unstead-
unevenness
yeah.
to her design. There's parts of her that are very like asymmetrical, which can indicate imbalance in a character. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing
Cool.
that you pointed out, and we kind of talked about this with Wolverine earlier, and this that's that,
Spoilers! No, don't look! Don't look!
is you pointed this out, and this is what ended up causing me to look at Wolverine and the W.
Oh yeah. Good point.
So Jinx has these X's throughout her design.
Yes, is in
Like even and you know it's very intentional on the grounds, because if you look down here by the leg area, there's like right there, there's a band freaking thing. There's a band-aid.
Just wanna let me out of the basement.
Why is there band-aids there?
Yes,
Why?
it has
what
to be
was that?
intentional.
What is that there?
So it's just a little bit rough. She likes to get rowdy, but it's in the shape of an X.
It's in the
That's
shape of an X.
intentional. Not to mention, if you've watched the show, a lot of the time when she has her little like flashes, her episodes, there will be X's. There's X's over dead characters' eyes. It's connected to her one way or another. So this is intentional. It has to be. Then you see her sister Vi.
Right?
Starts with a V. She's
Mhm.
covered in V's.
Yeah.
It's simple
Yeah.
as that. And it's incredible how they think about this kind of stuff. Seriously, how good of a character designer do you have to be for the names?
I don't even
to
think
occur
they
to
pointed. I don't even think they've pointed out the amount of V's.
No,
that
there
are
are some that
actually
they've
in the-
missed. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, look at the hairline.
Yes, thank you. Oh my god, get me, man.
And I think
Yes, right there. Oh my god, you can literally. Oh, no,
and
I
when
didn't
you
know
look
what
at
I'm talking about.
if you've seen Arcane, Jinx being kind of a crazy personality is like the crossing of two people.
Yeah,
And
an X.
yeah, And
Damn, I love this show so much.
and Vi is kind of a character that's
Connected.
from past and present, and that's
Yes.
very,
There's
very.
no crossing.
Yeah,
It's
there's-
just connection.
She's the same character. It's just that her past and her future make her who she
Yes.
is.
Oh my God. I love this show so much. The more I think about it, the better it gets. It's one of those.
So here's
so
another
weird.
character that we did. It's Chopper from One
Oh,
Piece.
shut up. It's just a furry little guy. He's got
Yeah.
a mustache. Chopper does not have a mustache.
He was one of these characters that really stood out to me in this show.
Heimerdinger.
Oh, yeah, him.
It's-
Humdinger?
Heimerdinger? I think it's Heimerdinger.
No,
Heimerdinger? Am I allowed to say that?
I don't know. I'm not allowed to say Humdinger. And he's kind of an intelligent character. How do I know he's the intelligent character? I can look at this and tell you that this is the smart character of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how.
How?
He's Albert Einstein.
Oh my God, you dumb. I'm leaving.
What?
No, that's too good. How did you even notice that?
Well, look at him.
Yeah, the mustache, the hair. I hate you. I feel like
That's exactly what
I'm
he
mad
is.
at myself for not realizing that first.
Yeah. Look.
He's
And those
Einstein.
eyes. Like that
Those
looks
eyebrows.
like
Oh my
this
God.
looks like Albert Einstein
It does. So
with
stupid.
that tongue with that picture of him
Oh,
sticking his
Lord,
tongue out.
It is. If you've seen Albert Einstein, this is Albert Einstein.
Well, what I was going to bring out about this character is the fact that the mustache and the bushy hair and stuff like that,
Mhm.
not the Albert Einstein aspect, but there was something about it that it made him distinguished. It made him look smart, but yet a little
unhinged.
even. Well, I don't want to say unhinged, but
Well, his methods.
Mike says that's a cool looking character. I know he really stands
he?
out. It's
Little fuzzball.
Arcade on Netflix, so
Watch it.
check it out.
I like
It
it
is
even
a
more, Michael.
really good show.
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Gorgeous. And these are just a couple of the characters. It has
Oh yes.
a massive
Dude,
amount
there
of
are
characters.
so many things I wanted to throw
There's
in here. but-
political. There's this is a lot.
Oh, it's a lot, and it is awesome. It's probably my third favorite show ever in the world.
Well,
Okay, I'm fangirling a little bit too
oh
hard.
my gosh, yes you are.
I'm sorry. I love this show.
Let's see. I want to bring out.
Oh, but okay. Damn. Was this
So
a
here's-
spoiler? Okay, I'm not gonna say anything spoiler related, but there is foreshadowing in the character designs. Like in Jinx's design, there are alludes to her past. That's stuff that you don't pick up on
right.
when you watch the show. But when you look back on it, you start to piece together like, oh my God, they had told me from the start where this was going. I just hadn't put those pieces together. It's incredible. It really is.
Well, that's interesting, and we didn't get a chance to do it. Is there's a younger Jinx and then there's an older
Oh
Jinx.
yes, Powder.
So yeah.
Is that a spoiler?
So well, that was a
Sorry.
spoiler.
It's mostly if you've played the game.
Don't rewind if you missed that. No, because they weren't really in the game.
Hmm?
They weren't in the
No,
game.
Powder wasn't in the game, but
No, neither was the other character. These were
Jinx?
originals to
Jinx
Arcane.
was in.
Are you
oh,
did now?
No,
But I
she
thought
in
it was
before.
came in later because I didn't think this was the actual lore of the game.
No, it's not the actual lore of the game, but it is the characters from the game. They gave them a different story.
Oh,
Is what happened.
Okay.
Jinx is in the game. Powder was
I thought Jinx was
thrown in
added
as a-
after.
No, she's been in there for a long time.
Really look
In a
that up.
bikini top.
Okay.
I
Anyway.
promise you she has been. I think I would know. It's probably like my third favorite show ever. I already said that.
Oh my
God.
gosh. Freaking favorite. So
I would know.
what is it about this character that stood out to you that you wanted me to include him?
He's hot. Sorry.
Really? That was it?
I threw him in there because he's cute and I like his hair. And his face. It's an hourglass. I think it's cool. That's all. Thank you.
It's an hourglass. What does that have to do with his character?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. He has a connection to bugs because he's part of the firelights, I believe, is what it is.
Mhm.
They're kind of they're the middle ground.
So
in
it's
the
like a
political-
lightning bug.
Yes. Yeah. And
That's not an hourglass. It's a lightning bug.
is it? Are we sure about
Well, look. Antennas and the little round.
that? I guess it can be seen that way. Yeah.
Here,
From a
bring
downward
it down
angle.
some.
From a downward angle, it definitely is more hourglass like. The only connection I can make
See,
is
look.
spiders, but no. Oh, and he's got it on his shirt too. It might be their symbol. They all have war paint, from what I remember.
Yeah,
It's been a while since I've watched it.
it's not on the back of his head.
No. I fell in love with his character design the second I saw it. It's one of the more simple ones in the show, but something about it always just stood out to me. It's because he's cute.
Well, now So, okay.
Moving on.
All right. So this is one show that has been on Netflix. Recently, I like to use this show as an example of last week. I asked the question about is breaking into comics antiquated? And my point being is that you no longer have to try to get into Marvel, DC,
No,
Image, and things like that to do what you want to do. In fact,
it's probably
I
best
would
if you didn't.
probably, to be completely honest with you, if you want to create, do that and don't give it to somebody else.
Yes. Hold
Um,
on to your ideas.
but there is a show that's come out now. It started off on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I know where this is
Yeah,
going.
this is going.
I've put it together.
So it started off on YouTube. It was an independent animation.
Mhm.
She actually started with comics. It was what was it called?
Zoophobia.
Zoophobia, right?
I think that was her first. Yeah.
Yeah. So she started off with independent comics. It's the same thing with Lackadaisy,
Yeah.
Lackadaisy, whatever the case is, which is now come to a wider thing because they have their animation that just came out.
Yeah.
I wasn't wild about that.
It wasn't rave reviews, but it looks pretty, right?
Yeah, I think I don't understand why you just didn't do the comic, but whatever. Yeah,
What?
sure.
Hot
But
takes.
oh, so but anyway, yeah. So you had Lackadaisy, but so I'm talking about which got millions of views online from just one episode.
Oh, yes.
Has been Hotel, which has got the Christians
anyone
in
know?
a row
Oh my god.
right now, which I can understand that.
Yeah, if you were a white mom who really likes
Whoa,
Starbucks.
whoa. We like Stanley Cups. But yeah, so
What about the children?
but here's the deal.
They're not going to be watching the show.
They get picked up. She's well known in the independent circle. It's pointed out. Whatever. So Daphne, I hope I'm not. I think this was something that was said online. We'll say someone who made a statement when they were talking to somebody who works for who has worked for Disney or whatever the case is. How did you break into that?
Mhm.
And it was basically that they learned that you can, if you show to them that you can make money without them, then they'll want you.
Yes.
That's something to remember, folks. If you can make money without them, then they'll want you. So don't pay attention. We're trying to break into Disney, break into Marvel and stuff like that. Pay more attention into making your own thing and making your own way and then turning heads.
Yes.
So here we go. So she goes in and ends up selling her, selling her soul or her character over to Amazon.
Yes.
And Bento Box, which does A24 also, which is
it's all independent, really.
hitting stuff, right? Yeah.
They pick up a lot of.
Well, Bento Box does Bob's Burgers and some other stuff. It's whatever.
I was mostly talking about
it says independent as Image. Anyway,
I guess put it that way.
So,
no, where'd you go?
So what happens is what we have here is this was on the left-hand side. This is the character design for
the pilot from YouTube.
The pilot from YouTube.
Posted years ago. It was in production for a long time. Not nearly as long as the show that came out just now. And on the other side, we have the one most recent on Amazon right now. This is basically the reboot of the entire premise.
And you hate this.
I hate it so much. Look, I feel like, Charlie, which is the name of the character on screen, she's this very bubbly, like a little, what is it? She's very optimistic, is the point. She's, in hell, this is a huge juxtaposition. I can't say words tonight. Had too much caffeine. She's covered in circles, right off the bat when you look at her pilot design. What do you notice her hair? It's very
I
round.
just did. I actually just noticed this. I was like, wow, I didn't even I remember I watched this. This is done by Vivian
Madriano?
Yeah, change your name. Vivian Matt. Anyway, and she also does Hell of a Boss, which has some really cool designs on it.
I'd
and
honestly say better
fucking animations than the
Amazon.
Amazon.
The show that just came out.
Yeah, absolutely. What the hell? What the hell? I mean, you have you have these brilliant animators and storyboard artists. Be careful
Did
how
you
you
lock them
say
in
it.
a
And I
closet?
look, and she's not known for having good criticism or whatever the case is, so she's probably going to block me. But
I hope so.
it was
Oh,
brilliant.
that would be so
So
funny.
whatever, I don't give a shit. Here's the deal: you had independent artists, you had independent voice talents and stuff like that, and you fucking sold it out.
She kind of abandoned them.
You sold them out for these studios.
Excuse me.
You had voice actors who were more than ready to go, who were trying to break into voice acting, and this would have been a huge thing for them.
Abandoned
But what
them
did
for
you do?
celebrities.
You took a character. You took a freaking character, and you gave it to Keith David. I love Keith David. Goliath, other things, Mr. Dr. Facilier, and I'm only referencing his voice acting. He's also in The Thing, They Live. I know who Keith David is. I watched Greenleaf. And that's great. But here's the deal. You had people who were already lined up that were already voice actors for these characters, and you abandoned them just to get bigger names. And here's the deal. However much money your funding was to make this, to make the show that's on there now, which is not as well written as the
Not
pilot that has been on
not
YouTube
nearly as much.
for years now. You spent money to have these big name actresses. You got the or decent name. You have Keith David. You have
Stephanie Beatrice.
Yes, who was from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who was also on Twisted Metal. This is a great actress. These are great actors. But what about the independents, man? So what you do is you spent money on getting these big names, and guess what suffered? What suffered, Jaden?
The animation.
The animation. So guess what?
Your
Now we've got to
animators.
we've got to make animation that we can. Oh my gosh, animation is just so horrible.
It's
Characters
not
actually
It's-
disappear.
Yes! Oh my god, there is a clip. It is in the trailer. Mind you, this is in the trailer for the show. You can see it on YouTube right now. There's a clip where she begins singing, and Vaggie, her girlfriend who's in the background, just disappears. Like for the clip, she just cuts away. What happened? How do you make an animation error like that without completely starting over? And then you put it in a trailer? Are you kidding me? You're telling me no one picked up on that? I don't know.
It doesn't
my
make
brain.
sense. So now you made your character designs different.
Yes, she redesigned them.
Uh-huh.
All of the characters. She's been doing.
I'm gonna tell you, to be completely honest with you, I don't think she did.
Are you sure? You think someone else did it?
I think somebody else came and redesigned these characters.
There's a very good chance someone else. was
Because
working on
there's an imprint and style that you have that you're not going to get rid of,
it. No.
and I don't see it
You
on
don't
these
see it.
characters.
I think I'm gonna disagree. I think
Okay.
I can see certain aspects of her design. I think
Helluva.
it's just her art style change. Yes, Helluva, that one's complicated because I would say that the Helluva designs are far superior to anything that Has Been Hotels ever offered. Even now, like they still trump, right? But see, Helluva had different character designers.
Oh,
Yes, okay.
really?
Some of them were outsourced. Some of them were commissioned, and then you have Gooseworks, who recently did that pilot that you did not like so much, Digital Circus.
Yeah, well,
She did a lot of the early designs, and they did get tossed around. They did get redesigned, but most of the designs you see in the first season, especially the villain characters, were probably done by Gooseworks, who's a fantastic character designer in my opinion. I don't know how my dad feels.
Who's they did Helluva?
They did the Digital Circus. They did all of the characters for that, and they're more simplified than they usually do. But yeah, she did all of those in Digital Circus. She didn't do everything in Helluva.
I do love Helluva. Well, I did.
The writing
has dropped off
But the
tremendously.
character designs, in my opinion, are still pretty solid. Like the art direction is still there, and the animation's still miles better.
Helluva Boss, which is free on YouTube, y'all go check it out. The first season's really good. I always
the
felt like
pilot's pretty good.
I think you know what. Here's the deal too with that. We were watching. What's his name? LF Fort. Low F Fort.
I think something.
And he kind of gave a review of Helluva, and he was very prominent. I don't agree with everything he said, but you have these characters who are two-dimensional, but which is fine if you're doing something like Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny and
something
stuff.
more episodic and non-linear.
Right. Well, look. Okay, I always said Helluva Boss is where the Invader Zim fandom went,
Yeah, it is. It is.
and that's not just because Zim, the
Is
voice
the
of Zim,
voice.
Richard Horowitz,
Yes.
is one of the Horvitz.
Horvitz?
Yeah, is one of the
Horcrux? I'm not sure.
yeah. And so that was the case. Now let's be honest. Invader Zim didn't have really deep emotional ties, and it's
No.
my favorite cartoon.
Justifiably.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably another one of my top 3.
And if you'd have stayed that way with Helva, that would have been the case. In the first season, I think they did.
Oh,
But there's
you're
another
gonna
thing.
show your
Yeah. And another thing, so just to let you know, this is not merch that you can go out this Hot Topic and buy. I'm sure Hasbin's going to be, right?
Probably already is.
Anyway, but
Probably got
seriously,
stuff in Spencer's
so-
I can't see
no, but look, yeah.
in the
Well,
back.
no, I don't think that's, you can go see it now. You're 18. It just depends on what you want to do
Hi,
with your
Mommy.
eyes. But I actually have. This is Millie and Moxie.
You got
my-
this when you were still watching the first season, I believe.
Yeah,
hadn't-
yeah.
I mean, the second season hadn't even premiered
Yeah,
yet.
you have to order this offline.
You do. You have to go to her website.
So, and Moxie is the one who voices Moxie is Richard Horowitz.
Who's
Wasn't
also
in the
Invader
wasn't in the pilot. Somebody else voiced him. I don't know why she changed the character.
Because
even
she
though
got the opportunity to
Well-
work with Zim. I
Well-
think that's why.
well, that's great and everything, but what about the guy you left behind?
True. I wonder what that deal was.
Now, if there was something to where you said, "Oh, the voice wasn't working, and I wanted a different voice," that's fine. I don't think that's what you did with Hasman.
She found a name.
I don't
that's
think
what
so.
happened.
I don't think so. I think you had some fantastic Angel Dust and Hasman was a good voice,
okay.
and I don't know what you did.
Someone can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure Michael Kovac, who was the voice in the original, could have come back. I think he wanted to.
Yeah,
I don't think there was any time issues or anything. He could have totally come back, and for whatever reason, he was still replaced.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't happy about him specifically, so I'm not gonna clown too harshly. I do not like the new Angel Dust. It's way too squeaky. I can't stand it.
yeah. He's typical, and the way that they introduced Angel Dust in the new pilot or the new first episode is completely and utterly different.
You get the worst impressions of the characters if you meet them
You want to
in the Amazon.
You want to
version.
piss me off and bore me to death is explain stuff to me.
God, just talky talk.
And you know what? There's actually, I saw something the other day. I didn't get to read it. It was a headline or whatever, but I can't remember who it was, had made the statement that they would be writing better stuff, except the studios are telling them to dumb it down.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's what's happening, folks. People out there, you want to rush to go work for Netflix. You want to rush to go work for Amazon. You want to rush to go do this and that and everything else like that. Guess what? It's not worth it. They will take your stuff and they will run you through. And with just the promises, it's selling your soul to the devil. And even I'm not hitting it with like the Taylor Swift, the Satan shit.
No,
I'm hitting it on the
nice.
grounds that, oh, we'll give you what you want, the fame, the money, and everything.
If you're submissive,
But you have to,
you have to work for us.
Yeah.
This is our idea now.
if you just, sit down and praise me. It's
Yeah.
basically it's the Jesus temptation
Uh,
is what it is. So okay, so anyway, but this is a character design, and I don't, like I said, here she's very rounded here, which fits her personality. She's Lucifer's daughter. She's trying to rehabilitate souls in hell.
hell. Yeah,
Right.
souls.
Well, they're not all. Yeah, they're not demons. The only imps were demons, right? Like Hell of a
so,
Boss, like Blitz, and all of them were.
They're souls damned to hell, and there's some kind of the story is so loose still. They keep changing it, in my opinion. The lore keeps shifting, but she opens a hotel to try and rehabilitate these damned souls. It doesn't go too well, but she's this cheery, outgoing, optimistic character, and her original pilot design is a really good indicator of who she is as a person. It's such a small change in the recent one. Look, I'm gonna point it out now.
Okay.
Her shoulders.
Well, don't you do that? So,
Her shoulders
Absolutely.
and hair. I hate what they did with her blazer in the new one. It's such a simple design change, but it ruined it for me because on the newer design, has a lot of triangles for some reason. Her very sharp shoulders, even the little what is that called? Just towards the end of the jacket, it curls and it creates a very sharp shape, which does
the
not.
end of the jacket.
It doesn't
I think
fit
that's
her.
what that's called.
Yes, the end of the jacket. In anatomical terms. Now, in her original design, she has this, and I mean, even the bow tie is sharper than in the pilot. It drives me crazy. She has this rounded out hair. It's very fluffy. The new one, she's got it in 2 ponytails, and it's just ugly. I'm not saying that it's not the same shape language. It's just bad looking.
Well, I
think
wonder,
her silhouette's ruined. in
yeah,
the new
I
one.
agree. I agree. She has more of a free-flowing thing, the picture
Yes,
thing. This is
exactly.
kind of a more executive
It's
look.
very rigid, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that doesn't really help with the character.
I think it killed her silhouette.
Yeah.
What she had before in the pilot was kind of this Mickey Mouse ears thing going on, where her hair, that little rounded out
Mhm.
piece, it was the same. It was the same
This
no
is
matter what
classic
direction.
Disney pop. That's what that is.
Yes, it is. It was the same shape no matter which direction she turned, and I think it was perfect. I think that's all you had. That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
It was honestly an unchangeable design, and then they changed it, and it killed it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think they changed it. A
Well,
little
look
too
at her
much.
bow tie.
Yeah, I know. What
Now, her bow tie, this looks like a butterfly,
It does.
which
It's-
makes sense for the character,
it
actually,
does.
because that's what she wants to do with the Souls of Hell.
Turn them into butterflies.
Yeah, basically,
Turn them into
from
ants.
right. But you didn't hate
Give them
everything.
wings.
You didn't hate everything about the show, so let's not dump on it.
Even though we've been doing that
Too
for
bad.
the past like 30 minutes.
Yeah, whatever. I want to dump on it too bad. but-
There are updates made. Vivian.
Hmm.
You can't see, but I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to give it. Let me give it a little bit of. We also don't know what everything is behind the scenes or whatever the case is.
No, but I hear she's been underpaying animators. And they're in the opening sequence of the show,
Mhm.
they show paintings of characters, and that the artist wasn't credited, like at all. Not in the credits, not on a wiki. No, just wasn't credited.
Indies, don't sell your soul.
Don't do it.
Build your own kingdom.
No one will
I'm telling
appreciate
you.
you.
I'm telling you.
Let's see here.
Now, this is actually a character that you champion this design.
Ignore that we amputated her down there. I don't know what happened. I couldn't find a version where she had her full legs in the picture, but I didn't think it was that important. This one.
No, we can't use this. This is horrible.
No.
Why did you do this?
I didn't
Okay,
know.
no. Anyway,
I didn't mean to.
go ahead. Tell me what you like about why you like this design change, and I'm going to tell you why it's horrible. Go ahead.
Oh no, my feelings. I don't care. Okay, so in the new version, okay, I gotta start from basis here. I'm jumping ahead of myself. She's supposed to be a moth. That's what her design is based off of. Probably something to do with how she died, which is, that's the connection you'll find with a lot of these characters. In the original, it's ugly. She's ugly. Her hair is just a blanket. There's not a lot going on to indicate who she is as a person. She's this sort of, edgy character. She's clearly very, I guess, pastel goth is the term I would use. I don't know if that's proper though. Her
I like that term.
thank you. The X over her eye is the same color value as like her face, so it just bleeds out. You can't see it. You cannot see it. It's not overlapped with the hair like in the newer one. Her freaking bow. I know it matches the old Charlie. I know that was probably the point, but it totally kills whatever vibe she's got going on. She's got all these edges. She's got all these squares and these triangles, and she's so cool. And then she's just got a little cute bow in the background that's all round and cute. And then in the new one, which I think is the updated design, her hair, that's a moth. Like there's no there's no beating around that one. That's just a moth.
Now you've just proven me that I'm wrong. Okay.
What just happened?
Well, no, I was thinking because I like that flare with her hair. That kind of that triangle look with her
Yes.
hair up front with the bangs.
Yes, but
I do like that. But but now that you mentioned the fact that she's supposed to be more based on a moth, and I look at her hair,
It's a
that's
moth.
actually a
That's a
better
moth,
design.
right? Thank you. See, I'm right. Yeah, he just admitted it live on stream. Someone clip that. Her bow is updated.
I'm gonna
It's
take this
sharper and it's wings. It's moth wings. Like, dude, it's just better. I don't know how to tell you. The silhouette is cleaner, it's crisper, it's tastier. Her eyes, those are wings. Like, look at her eyelashes.
Yes,
Everything is a wing.
totally got a better design and completely void
Just
of the personality.
Ruined it. Such a shame. And I guess the selling point was her skin got darker and her X now fully overlaps the hair, which makes it stand out so much more. That's pretty much all I had to say. What were your opinions that are wrong?
No, I think you freaking floored me.
Thank you.
Uh,
I don't like her blazer. That's the one thing I'll say. I think it's a little too preppy for her, but I mean, if she's trying to impress newcomers to the hotel and she's trying to look good for her girlfriend, I get that.
Well, that's the thing, and you see in the pilot that was on Amazon or on YouTube,
Yeah, not the Amazon one.
the thing was there is you got an introduction to without being told everything. You didn't have I don't remember if they had an opening like they did here where they kind of explained stuff, but you had introductions to characters that weren't so flat. It's
No,
flat.
no.
Um,
They didn't just like come in with one-liners.
Yeah.
There was visuals in an animation, which is
the
hard to believe.
storyboards that are in this are something I feel like I myself would do
Oh yeah. Okay.
because and I'm not experienced on composition as well as I
I-
need to be.
You are wrong, but that's okay. You can do so much better. You can do so much better.
but
The composition in the
But-
Amazon so bad.
but when you go back and you go look at your Hell of a Boss compositions and things, you have a stretched perspective. You have different
Yes.
things and stuff. And
You get to
this
see
is just
the
not
you
missing
get
it.
to see the rooms they're in. I mean, you barely get anything in the Amazon version. It's just that it had talking heads. It's
Yeah.
all it is. You barely get anything.
But I do feel I don't know.
I miss you so.
So that's but this character you've hated. Period.
Oh, I always hated him. He sucks. He's a bad design. There's just no beating around the bush with that one. He's bad. And I will.
This is
I will
this
die
is the
with it.
character that was replaced for Keith David Keith David. This was the character that was replaced with Keith David.
What a waste.
What did you hate about this character's design?
Oh, just everything. His silhouette is so clunky and ugly, and it did. I mean, they updated it in the newer version, but how much? Like, you slap lipstick on a skeleton? I don't know. It's not. It looks ugly. It's bad. He's got wings and cat ears and big eyebrows and long tail with a little flaring at the end. It's so clunky. I mean, we're just looking at the shape language here, not even the I guess compensation with details. It's so okay. This guy, he's poker related, right? Like I think it's something of a gambler. I'm not
Right.
quite sure, but you can see that in his original where he's got you get diamonds and hearts all over him. Too many hearts, in my opinion. It has no real bearing on his personality, other than maybe the gambling connection. But in the new one,
Yeah.
they somehow did it worse. It's just dots. It is circles. Why? Why, Vivian?
Okay. When I look at this character, that has that old timey because he goes with Alistair, which is an old timey character.
Mhm.
But I think what's interesting is with the suspenders. Okay, not in the new character design, the old one.
He's naked.
These aren't but those down here remind me of the suspenders that you see on like the punk pants and things like that we used to
okay.
buy from Hot Topic.
Interesting.
That's how the character
She would
how
have
the character I
experience.
see that, huh? Yeah, that's what I see there. I don't the frills on the tail. I don't understand
It's-
why that.
It's unnecessary. It's ugly. I don't know how this connects to him as a character.
I feel like you could combine these two with the best of both worlds and get a better cooking character out of it.
Probably. Look, he's like, he's like Cat in the Hat's edgy deviant art OC. It's just bad. I've never liked it. Also, he has little hearts on his ears too. He's this kind of angry type. He's
He's
not.
an alcoholic.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an alcoholic. He's not. I don't get the heart thing. I mean, it could be connected to cards, sure, but I think the abundance of hearts sends the worst message.
You could have used spades. I
You could
think would have been
used
better.
Anything
Or
else.
diamonds
I
even.
do not like it. I don't like. It's even on his paws.
Yeah,
Like,
hearts comes out. Hearts has a different.
indication.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah,
Indication.
and
Words.
intonation.
I need a
maybe.
dictionary.
Or thesaurus.
There's a way you could.
Thesaurus is the thing with the different words, baby.
Oh, the synonyms, cinnamon buns. If you look at his tail, I think it's interesting that they updated it to be more square.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have done something where it resembles cards. Am I stretching?
No,
If
yeah.
you really wanted to pull that off, I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
Could have been like a deck,
Something
like a
like that.
shuffled deck.
And if you didn't have these ugly wings for whatever reason, it wouldn't have been as clunky. And you could have totally pulled that off. You could have done something better. Why does he have wings?
I don't know.
Why does he
I don't
have
know. He's not an
wings?
imp, right?
No, I think he's a lost soul. What is wrong with his guy? He's so
I don't
ugly.
know.
I
don't
can't
know.
even look at him. I'm getting mad.
So here's the deal. And so you notice this. All right. Now Alistair's the one in the middle. Doc
Yeah.
Whatever.
No.
Septopus.
Also voiced by Richard Horvitz. So
Oh, is he?
yeah. So no, I think he was been on board since Hasman got picked up. I think they
Oh.
just kind of had a connection. Though I could be wrong. Who's to say?
Yeah.
But and then you've got Vox, who is like I think the newest addition. He's in the Amazon show and he's boring. But we're not talking about
It's a
personalities. We're
Just
talking
generic
about
TV head
just
kind of character.
kind of supposed to be like the villain for Alistair. It's all over the place. I'm not crazy about it. So I added this, and I told you not to put it in. Why'd you want to throw it in?
Well, okay, so what did you say was the deal with this? You noticed that these were all
They all have the same torso.
Exactly.
They have the exact same torso.
and I'm gonna tell you why that is.
Go ahead.
Okay, for the animation, it's easier to just hit that and run.
That's
And
true.
and let's say you have two different animators, and all the animator has to do is come in and put the body in, and then somebody comes in and animates the head later on with the face and everything. Because you have in-betweeners and things of that
there's all
nature.
kinds of
So I think that's why you have. So that you take that into mind, right?
It's just a very common complaint that I've seen people have, mostly on Twitter, because Twitter hates everything. But they will say that all of her designs are just tall, skinny dudes in suits with inverted triangle torsos. And you know what? These are the only references I could find. So I gotta hand it to her. They're pretty diverse in terms of that. I mean, you have characters in blazers. You have like Angel Dust, who you could say is sort of on par with these, but I wouldn't. I think they're different enough to pass.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And they all have reasons to be in suits. I don't think it. Well, though, not everyone has a reason to have a bow tie, but it's just a.
Well, that's kind of just the
design
thing
quirk.
there, right? Absolutely. I don't particularly hate the flat screen TV head.
I think they could have done it better.
Probably. I always said this. Like I was saying when watching is like, okay, the TV versus and Alistair's a radio personality. You could tell by his wand. The TV versus radio aspect has been completely overdone.
Mhm.
And I think we're at a point where it could be added a new argument for it, considering podcasts and things like that.
Radio's coming back.
In a sense, right.
The combination.
So I think they did.
I mean,
they wanted to add that aspect, but I don't think it was done well. But I wouldn't have done a television head. Television is not.
This isn't the freaking 90s. This
No,
isn't.
it would have been something like a phone.
Maybe something more modern.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, like, why look at a big screen when you have a tiny one?
Yeah, I mean, but I guess in essence, to that respect, I guess also you can listen to the radio on the phone. So I mean, maybe that's why. So
I don't like his little hat. I think too many of these characters have top hats.
to me,
Too many top hats.
I like
I don't.
top hats.
I don't understand the hat.
I like top hats.
I do you?
I do.
That's an opinion. They're okay.
That's a good
They're
opinion.
good in moderation. All right. Let's not go crazy.
Anyway, so I'm not sure if we accomplished anything tonight.
Oh, we complained.
We did do that.
Mhm.
That's always fun, right? I mean, after all, you're a comic community on YouTube, so of course you got to complain,
Yay.
right?
That's what we do best.
Worst ever. Anyway, Jade, tell them where we can find you.
You can find me on Facebook under Jaden Lanning. That's it.
That's it. All right,
I
and
do
of course you can find me on at landingart.com, LANNING art.com. There you can follow all my socials, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And we're going to try to be a little bit more consistent with Art Style Kamikaze. And this, like I explained before yesterday, I might show up whenever. So, but we were definitely looking at making the solid decision that we will be here Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern.
We're back.
I'm sorry, 10 p.m. Eastern,
Ooh.
9 Central. So, with that, we say good night. Say good night, Jaden.
Good night, Jaden.
You have been watching Art Style Kamikaze. If you've experienced headaches, bleeding, or a pleasurable euphoria, please consult a physician. Unless you like that kind of thing.